Hey guys, Bruce here, Tough Dog's Place. Just going to show you what kind of a day I'm having. So far it's been awful. I got new high-speed bearings for my front tires, which the way everything was going, I thought I'd go ahead and change them out. And turns out that's what was in there, but they're old. There's two of them have the retaining ring on there. One of them, two of them, do not. So they were recessed up into the wheel. It looks like it was a sealed bearing, but somehow or another something's happened to it. The seal is gone off one side. That one's a good bearing. That one's a good bearing. Just needs cleaned up. This one, however, missing the seal and the retaining ring. The third one I took out, which is the last one I'm going to talk about, came out in two pieces. The inner race, the bearings, and the outer housing. I think I might have broke it pounding it out. Anyway, there was no seal at all, and there was no retaining ring again. So it was recessed inside the wheel too. So it's no wonder the front end was acting silly. So anyway, I got the new bearings in. I just tapped them in with a hammer until they seated. And very nice. Very nice. Did both. Cleaned up the wheel, just wiped them out a little bit. They were really nasty. They look much better now, even though they don't look very good. That green, somebody oversprayed paint in there and all kinds of stuff. Yesterday I had a terrible day. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. And I battled that out. Late in the evening, things turned around and started going in my favor. And I got a couple things accomplished. On the KART, that's my new steering wheel. I haven't got my tires changed yet. These are 13 by 5 by 6, and they're 12 inches tall. Well, I got these I don't know if you'll be able to read off of there or not. 145/76. They're 14 inches tall and 5.5 inches wide. So it's going to give me an inch more ground clearance and just a little wider, a little bit more meat on the road. I'm thinking snow's coming. It's going to be fun. Plus they match the back tires. I haven't got them swapped out yet. You got a nice little colored emblem on them for now. I'm sure they won't last long. I got these from Karts and Parts. Smart KART parts off the internet. 20 bucks a piece. Thought that was pretty decent. Anyway, what I've done is I cut the steering wheel completely out. I just wanted something different. And put a joystick. It has the steering, throttle, and the brakes all incorporated in one handle, which the brakes aren't hooked up yet. However, I want to show you what I've done to the throttle to make it work. It's got this massive mouse trap. And I'm going to try to hold this steady so I can show you what I'm talking about. Here's the original cable. Comes out, hooks on there. And then when you pull it up, it has, let me get the spring off so it'll move. It has an inch of travel before it does anything. Of course, you take that out with the cable adjustments. And then you do that. And then it moves this, which actually in turn moves the actual throttle body, the butterfly, and it's also attached to this governor lever. Well, along with that is this other cable that hooks on the governor cable, and I've got it disconnected right now. It just clips on the bar. This is the original bar. Got a little bend in it. I was trying to drill it in that little shiny spot right there so I could put this other attachment on there that I've created. And that metal is so hard. I thought my drill bits were dull. I don't know what that is made of. I got that little dimple in there, and that was all. It would just sit there and the bits would heat up. You know, you can see a little bump on the back, but I could not drill a hole through that. Whatever it is, I don't know. It's made for the spaceship, not for a go-kart. So anyway, this cable runs from there over back to the mousetrap where the housing attaches, and it runs down over here where it was attached to the brake linkage, which the disc brake is there. I've got it, I don't have it hooked up yet. Anyway, it hooked onto the actual linkage so that when you applied the brake, it would pull tight, pulling this governor back in, thus shutting the throttle, the butterfly. Here's wide open. And then it would pull it and shut it. It's like, well, that's a bunch of crap for nothing, because when I let off the gas, I want the throttle to return. So I took the spring off of that, and for right now, I just hooked it right on the butterfly throttle assembly and hooked it on here, and it works good. It's almost hard, which is good. I mean, I know it's going to come back. Alright? So what I've done, I've built a complete new setup to replace this since I couldn't drill a hole in it. Little rascal. I built a whole new lever. I mirrored the holes and whatnot. Drilled an additional hole right in the middle, putting this tab off of it. Put a little bend in it, twisted it so it's vertical. Put a bend on the end and then cut a slot in it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not, but what the slot does, your cable goes in there, and then your ball catches in the bend. And then when you put your housing attachment down there and tighten it up, it won't come out. Thus, giving me throttle control. Alright. Excuse me. Alright, so I tried to show you this the other night, but it was too dark. I got the rear roll bars back on. I still have to do the front ones. They're kind of, it's a trick because they're so long and it's in 3 pieces, and I just having a hard time doing it by myself. I had a friend come over yesterday. Well, I told you about it. He took the turf surfer out and broke my brakes and popped my tire, and it's sitting over there. It's just waiting for some attention. Anyway, that's what I got going on now. I just got to attach that housing, cable housing, and then the throttle will work. The steering, you may think it's silly. The only thing I'm going to do to alter it is the steering arm, pitman arm. I'm going to make it longer. The reason being, in order to get full lock, I have to go over so far I'm hitting my knees. So if I make that longer, I can get the same amount of travel with less turn here. So I'll be doing that this afternoon, and I'll have to lengthen my tie rods. Okay, well, I'll keep you posted. Thanks, fellas. Just going to show you in depth here a little bit how I did this. I took two little 1/8" steel plates, cut them the same, drilled a hole the same size as that spring steel pin, and then drilled the hole through the 1/2" round bar, just a next size bigger. So we would do this. And that way I can, if I ever need to change it, I can get it out of there, but I don't have to worry about it going anywhere. Then I welded them to the bottom of the steering wheel shaft. I reinforced it here, put a pivot point there, and there's a pivot point there. Got my key switch thing welded on there. I was going to put the kill switch off the weed eater up here, but too labor intensive when there's a on-off switch right there. It's really kind of redundant, so I didn't, and more wires, so I didn't do that. I put a cable stop there, and you may not be able to see it because I got this clamp on there, but in the very bottom of there is a hole where I'll run the brake cable, and put a cable stop on this side, and then run it back and hook it up to the modified brake linkage. So when I pull back on it, it's like pulling the reins on a horse. Whoa! Alright, here we go.